Welcome to iRose, and on this channel I talk about addiction and life after addiction, because yes, there is life after addiction. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different because I think we should change it up, and talk about different things here on the channel. Ooh yeah! Like cats. I'm scared of her, so. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about how trusting in the universe will set you free. Woohoo! And I think that this can relate to addiction. I think it's related because I think sometimes we want like control, or we want to escape. There's just isolation. There's so many reasons for using, and I think that knowing that there's something greater out there, and that like you are being taken care of, and like there is a greater purpose. When we go through such tough things, like for example, like I went through addiction, and I didn't really think that there would be anything else out there for me. Like I just pretty much wanted to do that. It was also like a spiritual awakening for me during this time, and I really found myself the more that I stopped using, and the more that I realized, okay, so these things are happening for me, not just to me. Like they're literally happening because I need to learn a lesson, and there's something greater that I'm supposed to take from this. And not only that, but we're constantly being tested, I believe, on similar things that trigger us, because we're being tested to see from the universe, like, hey, did you really pass this lesson? Like, I know you think like that you were over it, but it tests you again and again. And I think just realizing that and doing your best to let go. I actually had a dream the other night, and I was flying but I couldn't fly that high. It was like I could only fly a little, and I've had dreams of flying where I can go really high and really fast, but in this dream I couldn't. And it was like a lucid dream, so I was semi-awake during it, and I was like, okay, I felt like I had a lot of anxiety in me, and so I was like, okay, I need to let go of the anxiety. And as soon as I did that, I started flying up so high and so fast, and it was just like incredible. And I was like, this is amazing. Like I was going so fast, like nobody could touch me. But then I started going lower again and slower again. And then I realized, okay, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I don't know. Like why can't I go? And I was like, okay, I'm going to let go. It's got to be the anxiety thing again, And so then I let go of my anxiety again. Like I had that feeling of release, and then, but it was still, I still couldn't fly high and fast. So then when I woke up, I realized like, this is a control thing, I think. And I need to just let go and let it be, like let go of control and just let it happen, and not think about doing this and doing that. Because I think that manifestation is something that I struggle with, because I think when I was younger, I was really good at it. And then now I'm like too scared. I don't know if there are other people out there like that. I think enjoying in the moment and releasing, and this is advice that I should definitely be taking into consideration myself. And it's something that I do, and which is why I wanted to share it, because it's a great reminder. It's really hard to, in the world that we live in, like the 3D world, it's really hard for us to keep the momentum of, if you are spiritual or if you do trust in the universe, things happen, and stuff happens where you get shook, and it's just like kind of like, okay, I was rocked a little bit, but like I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna trust. But yeah, it's a constant thing, I think, in this world that we need to remind ourselves. And a common use for using drugs and alcohol and other addictive habits is to escape the reality that we do go back into. So it's definitely, if we have that trust that everything will be okay, then maybe like we won't have to use as much or ever, or it'll just be more of a co-creating and just believing in yourself. Because I think a part of sobriety is like you need to be able to believe in yourself, believe that you have what it takes, and it is that self-love and working through that, which I think is so important. And it starts with ourselves, I believe. And the nicer we can be to ourselves, the happier we will be to other people. I think so. Some things about me, like I have some beliefs. Like I think a lot of us are old souls, especially I feel like if you have used drugs and alcohol like to escape, I feel like you're probably an old soul where you feel like you don't belong here on earth in a sense. And something that I've gone through like with my spiritual awakening and whatnot is really believing that everything is divinely orchestrated. Like even the little tiniest things, they don't need to be like inspected and like, you know, put under a microscope to understand why it's happening. Sometimes, you know, if we go into that too much detail, like we're gonna lose sight of what's actually going on. And I think that's what happened to me before, is that I was like, why did this happen? Because this must have happened, and then this must have happened. And I really tried to like overcompensate, or really just like really wanted to be like down to the tiniest detail. What is the spiritual meaning of this? Like decipher, like Google, what is the spiritual meaning of this? And sometimes it was just like, I just had to let it go. And I think letting go and understanding that, yes, this was divinely orchestrated. Like another thing that I believe is that we have soul contracts. So we have soul contracts when we come into this world, and people are going to come into our lives to teach us specific lessons. And most of the time, like we know a lot of the people that are in our family, like from previous lifetimes, and we've come back and we've switched roles to teach each other different lessons, I feel. I also feel like we have a preview of like what our life is going to be like, and we like get to choose. And I think our dreams are very powerful, and that we actually go through in the dream world and sign contracts and do all this other stuff. It's pretty interesting. I mean, if you look into past lifetimes and karma and everything. So I'm just touching on it a little bit here, but I think that it ties into with how everything is orchestrated, and to trust, because we came here to learn lessons. If you trust yourself, if you don't want to trust the universe, trust yourself. Trust yourself that you are doing the right thing. And have a little bit more confidence in yourself too. As long as you don't want to steer yourself down the wrong path. There is no wrong path, you know, but yeah, just calming the mind and using your intuition. I think intuition is something that we should be teaching kids in school, how to use their intuition. And because, you know, when going through the adolescent age, your brain is not developed, so it's like this risk taking is like adrenaline. It's wired in your brain. It's not fully developed. So if we're able to teach kids and the next generation, hey, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, they will trust themselves more. If you listen to that little voice in your head that tells you not to do something or to do something, and it turns out great, I mean, wouldn't you trust yourself more? Because other than going back and being like, oh, I should have done that, like I shouldn't have done that, and then we're like bad mouthing ourselves, like, oh, I should have done this. Another thing is like, I think that wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. And sometimes like I can harp on myself because, you know, I want to do so many things and I want to help people, and as long as you're making some sort of steps towards your progress, towards your goals, towards what you want to do, a little goes a long way. It's doing those small things here and now that will lead to something greater. You know, then I don't have to think about all the big big ideas that I want to do, because I'm going to start small with the people here with me now, the people that I care about, and start from there. And I think that is like a relief, knowing that I have control over that. Like, I have control how I treat people, and like I want to make them smile and laugh and feel good, and that is me interacting with the universe and trusting, you know. And if I interact with someone and I don't get a response, it's me understanding, like, okay, they're probably in a place where they're not happy with their reality, and just to show some compassion, I think, rather than boom, bad mouth, you know. So I think a lot of it is trusting the universe and showing compassion and understanding for the universe. Literally, when I say universe, like, you can take it as so many things, and maybe I should have said this like in the very beginning, but like, we are the universe. You, me, the dogs, the cats, everybody, we're the universe. That's what I think. And I think that if we trust in each other, we're gonna get there, you know. And I believe people are good at heart, you know. And I think that sometimes we get steered or around a path that is tough, and we become used to and comfortable with the pain or the cause and effect. But there's a lesson there, and I think that's what I'm trying to get at. that there's definitely a purpose. So yeah. Another thing, like, if you get off of your plan or your purpose or your goal, like what you came on earth here to do, throughout your life you'll be presented with different opportunities to like get back. For me, I started as an undergrad, you know, with a psychology degree. I wanted to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and that was my original goal. And after college, during college I was drinking a lot, and I just had other things that I wanted to do instead, which were not healthy for me, but you know, we talk about it on this channel. I went down that path, but then, you know, years later I got clean, and then I've talked about this before, but like, my mom, she said, what about if you went back to school? And it felt like it happened on the 8/8 Lionsgate too. I don't know if you know about, but that's August 8th. Every year there's like a portal. Numbers have meanings, and this portal, it was like a portal that opened up for me at this time. And yeah, it was just like setting me back on track. Like, just because that happened, it doesn't mean like I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna be great, I'm gonna do all these things. But it was a nudge from the universe, from like being like, hey, remember this thing that you wanted to do? Well, go do it, you know? Like, and we get these things. Like, I also believe that angels are literally each other. We are angels, and the things that we say to each other to help each other get back on the track. So like, if synchronicities happen and you're like, wow, like, I can't believe they said that, or they said something like this, it's like, I really feel like that's your angels talking through people. And I think it's so cool. It's not always going to be someone who's going to like nudge you and say, hey, you do this, you know, because we have that inner voice that we should be listening to, the one that tells us, hey, like, I really like to paint, or hey, I really like to sing. If you know that, I mean, using and doing drugs and addictive behaviors, they don't like go together, I feel like, in my opinion, because they cloud your mind, and they like think that you're doing one thing when you're really doing another, and it puts you on a different vibration, in a sense, like a different type of energy, because using and drugs and alcohol, that is a lower vibration. It's just a low vibe. So anything that you're going to be making while you're high or drunk or whatever, it's going to be attracting that low vibe, and that's fine. I mean, that is what it is. But if you want to elevate and bring people up, using, I don't think, will be helpful in that. Because I mean, if you look at the popular music in today's society, it's a lot about drugs and alcohol, and it's not uplifting. It's not bringing people together in a positive, safe way. This video is a lot longer than I was expecting. Like, I have a lot more things to talk about, but I'm just gonna kind of maybe I can make this a series or something. I don't know. I have a lot of really cool things that I want to share and talk about, and I feel like this channel won't be for everybody, but the people that it is for, I really want to connect, and I hope that it brings some sort of light to you and just hope that, you know, you are powerful and you've got something really good in you to bring to the world. And you know, one day I want to bring everyone together and just create amazing things, because I think we're so powerful and we forget that. And I think that using and doing whatnot, it clouds our minds. And I mean, that's all I can really say about that, because it just doesn't tell you the truth. If you believe in yourself is the biggest thing that you could do. That being said, I want to thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I hope to talk to you again soon. I really like this kind of video because I feel like it's more natural, and I'm just kind of going with the flow. And that's something that I wanted to do too. Like, in a lot of my videos before, I kind of edit a lot because I'm kind of awkward. Like, I just feel like I am. And that's fine for me. But I don't like editing as much because you're losing a flow. And if you can stick with me through the flow, I just feel like we're in a zone together, and I think it's super cool. So I think bringing in whatever comes in is really awesome too. And I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable doing that, because I've heavily relied on notes before, and pausing and being awkward and stuff. And it's just a journey for myself. So yeah, I don't know, but thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next video. Subscribe and like if you like.